12 new clone fragrances. This is part of the series of videos that I've been doing for quite some time, where I basically try to take the new clones that I get, and I get really a lot each month, and I try to put them together in videos in lots together so that you could theoretically watch the entire series and get a pretty good idea of what clones have been coming out in any given period of time. So that's what you're about to watch, and there are some bangers in this video. Probably a couple you haven't seen before, probably some you have. So stay tuned, we're gonna get into this, but before we do, remember to subscribe and also give a series of clicks to the like button. Just be sure that you give an odd number because an even number will unlike the video. And we'll go ahead and begin this awesome list. All right, here we go. We're gonna go with this one, which is not necessarily a clone. It's more of a blend of DNAs, and it's a flanker to a very popular Middle Eastern fragrance that came out last year. I'm talking about Nitro Red Intensely. This is the original Nitro Red on steroids and maybe even on crack. This stuff is powerful. It's kind of a blend of the Invictus DNA with, of course, the BR540 DNA. And there's a nice combo of fruits in this fragrance as well. You've got a little bit of watermelon, not as much of an overload of watermelon as the original Nitro Red. You've also got some peach added in this time. You've got some sea salt added in this time. And to my nose, and I've heard others say the same, this one's a little spicier than the other one was too. Not quite as heavy on the Invictus DNA to my nose, maybe just slightly less of that and a touch more of the BR540 DNA, and overall it is potent. This is an Extrait de Parfum. It's a 3 or 4 spray fragrance and it lasts 12 hours. Really good stuff. Fairly youthful, but less so than the original Nitro Red was. Nitro Red Intensely. Okay, next. Now this one, I was tricked, I was duped, I was deceived by the online fragrance community when they told me that this fragrance was an alternative to Clive Christian Blonde Amber. It is not, my friends. This Maison Luxe Exotic Amber, which is actually made by Sterling or Aroma, something we're more familiar with. It's made by the same company that makes Aroma. Unfortunately, this is not an alternative to Blonde Amber. It doesn't really smell anything like it. What it smells like to me, almost exactly, is if you took Latafa Camera or maybe even Angel Share and you smash it together with Xerjoff Herba Pura. That's really what it smells like. It's got that warm, ambery, spicy, very sweet base, just like Angel Share or maybe even a little more Latafa Camera, but then it's got the same kind of fruity, aromatic, like same DNA, same profile as something like Herba Pura. It just blends the two together. So if you want a sweet, powerful, long-lasting fragrance, and either you don't have those two DNAs and you like them or you're curious about them, or you just really do like them and you want something else that is more of that, then this is going to give you, in my opinion, a really good blend of the two. But beware, it is sweet, and beware that even though people say it is a dupe of Blonde Amber, it really is not. It's something more like I described. So check it out if that sounds interesting. Next up, I got 2 fragrances here that, again, you know, surprise, surprise, there is confusion online about, but this one is on Maison Alhambra. They released these 2 fragrances, Galactic Men Intense and Galactic Men Elixir, very clearly telegraphing that these are alternatives to Mugler Amen flankers. Now, what you would assume is that this would be a dupe of Pure Havane, and this would probably be a dupe of Pure Malt. But I really don't think that's the case, and others online have said the same. Neither of them are a great dupe of those 2 fragrances that I just mentioned. However, this fragrance actually does smell a whole heck of a lot like Pure Malt. It's got that malt kind of a smell that you really only get in Pure Malt as compared to the other flankers. It does not have that tobacco, kind of cherry tobacco, slightly smoky feel that you get in pure Havana. But it does have that, you know, sort of aromatic barbershop malt feel from pure malt. It doesn't have a clear whiskey note, but neither does Fragrance World's Starman Nebula. You know, so this actually smells almost identical to Starman Nebula. So it is a lower quality take on the Mugler DNA. In my opinion, the Mugler Amen fragrances are some of the most masterfully blended designer fragrances you could ever get a hold of. And this one and Starman Nebula are just kind of a, you know, a noticeable step down in quality, but they capture pretty much the same fragrance profile. So again, in my opinion, this one is a good alternative to pure malt. And this one, on the other hand, is a little confusing because, well, the other one's confusing too. But to me, this fragrance is right in between the original Mugler Amen and Amen Phantasm. I don't know when it came out. I think it's a either late 2024 or early 2025 release. I think they may have actually been cloning Phantasm. Phantasm to me is like an updated, modernized take on Amen. I love it. I love the original. I have both of them. I still wear both of them. This one has that smoother, more chocolatey, vanilla-focused take on the Amen DNA. But it's not all the way there with that, you know, powerful chocolatey note that you get in Phantasm. So it's either a smoothed out, sweetened up take on the original Amen, or it's a dupe of Phantasm that gets about probably 85% of the way there. Either way, if you like this DNA, it is a great fragrance and quite inexpensive. I've actually got a discount code down below. You can get free shipping and 12% off on this fragrance. And that goes for a lot of these. I'll have links and codes down below. Next up, now this one has been one of my favorite pickups of late. This will be one of my favorite warm weather fragrances for the rest of the spring and on into the summer. This stuff is very good. I'm talking about Latafa Pride Art of Universe. And this one is apparently a dupe of Blue Talisman by Ex Nihilo. Now, I've never smelled the original, but online people are saying that it is a good alternative. You know, maybe not right on the money, 100% accurate, but very close to the original. Now, I will tell you, I love this fragrance. It is a citrus, fresh, spicy fragrance, which I'm in just hearing that alone, but it is an ambery citrus, fresh, spicy fragrance. So you've got beautiful sweet citrus in the opening, you've got a good bit of aromatic, fresh spiciness, and you've got this amber note that makes it, in my opinion, very unique. Kind of amber and musk. And you don't always get a discernible amber mixed with fresher notes like this. You often think of amber with spice or oud or vanilla or something like that. But this one is a pretty cool, I think very cool, amber, citrus, fresh, spicy, aromatic fragrance. And I am really, really digging it. Very powerful stuff. Long-lasting, strong, with good projection. For a citrus fragrance, this is a top-performing summer fragrance. Might want to check it out. And this next one is another one of, it will be one of my favorite pickups for the warm weather that we've just come into and we're going to be in for a number of months. This stuff is so very good. This is Coconut Lagoon by Paris Corner. I think it might actually be a kind of a collab between Aroma Concepts. At least some of the listings I saw listed it as Aroma Concepts Paris Corner. But this is like, to my nose, 75 to 85, we'll call it 80% Creed Virgin Island water. It's the same style of fragrance. It doesn't have that, I think it's white rum that is in, so it doesn't have the boozy note that is in Virgin Island water, but it's the same kind of a fragrance, you know, coconut and lime. There's also some ozonic notes, and there's some kind of gourmand sweetness. So it's not just like Virgin Island water, but considering that none of the big brands do a dupe of Virgin Island water, this is a great option. And regardless, even if it smelled nothing like that fragrance, it smells awesome. It is a sweet, ozonic, citrus and powerful coconut fragrance, and I am loving this stuff. I will wear it a bunch in the coming months. Coconut Lagoon, check it out. Now this next one, this is one that unfortunately, again, I was duped by some of the online fragrance community. I had viewers actually telling me that this fragrance right here was a clone, an alternative to BDK Tobacco Rose. Now I love Tobacco Rose, and I have been wearing a ton of that DNA this past winter. And so I'm very familiar with it, and I've got, I don't know, 3 or 4 clones now. This fragrance, on the other hand, smells almost nothing like Tobacco Rose, but it does actually smell very good. It's kind of a smoky leather, sweet rose fragrance. To me, it smells like you take that smoky leather vanillic sweetness out of Baby Cat, or think Paris Corner Rificat or one of the other clones of that fragrance. You take that smoky leather and vanillic sweet note and you add some rose to it, and you add some tobacco to it. The rose is not a perfumey kind of a floral note. It's the kind of rose note that I've really been loving in some fragrances lately, like Tobacco Rose or Blue Sapphire or some kind of a fragrance like that. So really good stuff. You've got to like strong leather, smoky fragrances. Great performance on this one, and not heard anybody else talk about it. It's not a dupe of Tobacco Rose, but it is actually pretty good, so check it out. Now this next one, this is from a small kind of indie clone house that I'd never heard of. They sent me a couple fragrances. One of them I wasn't really a fan of. I didn't think that it turned out that great. After I wore it a few times, you know, it kind of turned funky on me. This one, on the other hand, the longer I've had it, the more I've worn it, the more I love it. This is from Cedarland, and this is their clone of Nishane Nefs. Now, Nefs has been described of a more wearable version of Louis Vuitton Ombre Nomade, and that is definitely what you get out of this one. It is not powerfully incensey like Ombre Nomade, and it's got a honey sweetness and a hot spiciness that I think makes it an amazing fragrance. If you like oud, or even if you're kind of new to oud as a note, you need to know that it is powerfully strong, it is very dark, and in this case, it is beautifully warm, honey sweet, and spicy, like cinnamon, maybe cardamom, but like this hot, spicy, fiery, spicy note with sweetness and dark oud. So very good, and again, strong, long-lasting, really good stuff. Nefs from Cedarland. Next up, we've got a fragrance from Zoha Aroma. Now, I love Zoha as a brand. I've talked about their fragrances a lot, and I've got a lot of them that I love, that I genuinely love. They're in, you know, my top 20 or 25 fragrances that I own. This one, though, I haven't been as much of a fan of, but I'm letting you know that it exists because some of you, this would probably be right up your alley. Now, this is called Emerald Mist, and it's an alternative to Gucci Envy, a discontinued kind of barbershop fragrance. The notes in this one are lavender, orange, ginger, spices, leather, tobacco, and amber. But what I get out of this one is lavender, orange, ginger, barely any spiciness, and I don't get any of the leather, tobacco, and amber. Now, I never smelled Gucci Envy. I do have the Envy of FOMO by FOMO, which is like an aromatic barbershop fragrance with a distinct leather, tobacco, kind of dark base. This one is much more emphasizing the citrus and a little bit of fresh, spicy, aromatic vibe on the top, without that kind of dark, you know, foundation to the fragrance. So I don't know which one of them are more accurate. I just know that I prefer the Envy of FOMO. It is to my nose, a more complex, kind of hefty fragrance. This one is lighter and fresher, definitely would work better for the spring. So, you know, in general, Zoha fragrances, I think, are very accurate and done very well. But this one, I was surprised when I smelled it compared to the Envy of FOMO. It may just be that the Envy of FOMO is a horrible clone and I have been tricked, but Either way, I told you what you're gonna get with this one. Next up, this one, again, this is kind of my kind of fragrance. This is a gourmand, spicy fragrance. I'm talking about Dubai Chocolate by Aroma. And this is, I think, an original creation from Aroma. It is a pistachio, hazelnut, coffee fragrance with a whole bunch of chocolate. There's also some spiciness, maybe coming from black pepper, I think cardamom. So it is a spicy gourmand fragrance with a lot of chocolate, like just an overdose of chocolate. Right off the atomizer, it smells like pure chocolate. But when you spray it on, you know, the coffee and the cardamom and even the nuttiness, they really do very well balance out that over powerful chocolate. So this is definitely a fall winter fragrance, or what I've been doing is also wearing it in the evenings. Really good stuff, but probably not something you're going to want to wear in 90-degree weather. So check it out if that sounds interesting to you. Dubai Chocolate by Aroma. And finally, I've got two fragrances from another one of these small indie clone brands, one that I'd never heard of. But this brand is very interesting to me because they do high quality Extrait de Parfum clones of niche fragrances. This one right here, I am absolutely loving. This is their take on Parfums de Marly-Layton. This one's called Silk Noir. And they just did an excellent job of capturing Layton. You know, I've got a bunch of clones of Layton now, probably as a lot of you do. And some of them, now that I've had them for a long time, I think it's the geranium note and the woodiness in some of them. It's like my nose picks up more of that kind of geranium and woods than I do the sweet vanillic warmth that I get, that I used to love so much from Layton. You know, our nose changes, our biology changes, even from season to season. This one, though, is a very balanced, right down the middle, fairly accurate clone of Parfums de Marly-Layton, and you do get that Extrait de Parfum concentration. Great performance. Layton itself has good performance. Really, a number of the clones have great performance, but I'm just letting you know in this one, 4 sprays is absolutely all you need, and it's not too overboard on the kind of geranium, aromatic, spicy vibe. It's not too woody. It's just warm, spicy, vanillic goodness. Silk Noir by LAYL Fragrances. This one is actually a dupe of a fragrance that's marketed to women, but I remember Jeremy Fragrance telling me in a video from probably 4 or 5 years ago that this is a men's fragrance. I'm talking about Portrait of a Lady by Frederic Malle. Now, it's probably a women's fragrance, but if you like rose fragrances, there is nothing that is more feminine about this fragrance than something like a BDK Tobacco Rose or a Blue Sapphire. You know, that kind of a rose mixed with some spice and some oud and things like that. This is what this fragrance is. This is LAYL's Night Whisper, and it is a great spicy rose fragrance. If you like rose fragrances, then you will like this fragrance. I mean, if you like Tobacco Rose, you will like this fragrance. It doesn't have the tobacco note. It doesn't have as much of the sweetness as Tobacco Rose, but it's got the same kind of rose note. It's got the same kind of spices mixed with the rose note. I think it smells really good. And again, I've been wearing this one quite a bit. Since it doesn't have the tobacco and it doesn't have the sweetness, it really is kind of a spring take on a very similar DNA. And again, this one's called Night Whisper. Really good stuff. So that has been 12 new clone fragrances. What are some of the new clones you've been picking up? If you got something that you think I should try, drop me a link down below, or just let us know what's been your favorite clone pickup of late. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe and give the video a like. I'm Justin. This is Sillage Scents.